The port of Keelung buzzed with its usual activity, a symphony of cranes, cargo ships, and workers moving in perfect rhythm. Every day, thousands of tons of goods pass through these docks, connecting Taiwan to the world and fueling its economy. But on this particular morning, a shipment of U.S. avocados sat conspicuously idle, their journey interrupted by a red flag from Taiwan's Food and Drug Administration. The boxes, once destined for supermarket shelves, now waited in limbo. These avocados, celebrated as icons of American agriculture and healthy living, were halted due to the detection of high cadmium levels, a toxic heavy metal that poses serious health risks if consumed over time. For the FDA, even a trace amount is too much. For importers Chiaowei Enterprise Company and Ormart Marketing Company, the news was devastating. Months of planning, investment, and anticipation evaporated in an instant, replaced by uncertainty and financial loss. The avocados' journey ended abruptly under the scrutinizing gaze of customs officials, their fate now a matter of regulatory compliance. This moment highlighted the delicate balance and underlying tension that exists in global trade, where a single test result can upend entire supply chains. Taiwan's food safety standards are not mere guidelines, they are strict, enforceable laws. For regulators, protecting public health is a non-negotiable priority, even if it means rejecting valuable imports. The rejected avocados faced a grim fate, either shipped back to the United States at great expense, or destroyed as waste, a sobering end for a crop that traveled thousands of miles. This standoff underscores how a microscopic trace of contamination can halt a multi-million-dollar industry in its tracks. The tiniest detail, invisible to the naked eye, can have enormous consequences for businesses and consumers alike. For Taiwanese consumers, these strict standards are a shield, ensuring that only the safest food reaches their tables. Food safety is a matter of trust, and the public expects nothing less. For American growers, however, the rejection feels like an arbitrary barrier, one that threatens livelihoods and sows frustration among those who depend on exports for survival. The avocados, caught in the middle, have become more than just fruit. They now symbolize the complex, often fraught dance of international commerce, where politics, science, and economics collide. This incident is a stark reminder that the journey from farm to table is rarely straightforward. Along the way, invisible hurdles, regulatory, scientific, and political, can appear without warning. It's a clash of science, economics, and national priorities, with each side defending its own interests and values. Behind every shipment, there are negotiations, compromises, and sometimes standoffs. The humble avocado becomes a source of contention, a valuable commodity, and a symbol of health, all at once. Its fate is shaped by forces far beyond the orchard. This story is more than a simple trade dispute. It's about navigating the maze of international food safety standards, where every country draws its own lines in the sand. The avocado's rejection sends ripples across the Pacific, from the fields of California to the markets of Taiwan, affecting farmers, importers, and families alike. The message is clear: Taiwan's standards are uncompromising, and in the world of global trade, even the smallest detail can make all the difference. Cadmium, a naturally occurring heavy metal found in soil and water, halted the avocado shipment at Taiwan's border. Even trace amounts of this element can trigger strict regulatory action. Cadmium is a cumulative toxin with no biological function in the human body. Over time, it builds up in organs, especially the kidneys and liver, and is difficult for the body to eliminate. Exposure is linked to serious health issues including kidney damage, bone fragility, and even certain cancers. Long-term consumption, even at low levels, can pose significant risks. Taiwan's FDA sets some of the world's strictest maximum residue limits for contaminants like cadmium, reflecting a national commitment to food safety. For avocados, the legal limit is just 0.05 parts per million, a threshold far lower than many other countries require. This stringent standard is designed to protect a population that already consumes cadmium-absorbing rice as a dietary staple, making additional exposure from imported foods a real concern. The rejected avocados tested at levels from 0.08 to 0.12 parts per million, just above the legal threshold but still considered low by many international standards. While these levels are accepted in most countries, they exceeded Taiwan's uniquely low limit, underscoring the country's uncompromising approach. For regulators, a rule is a rule, leaving little room for negotiation and creating a conundrum for exporters, who must navigate a patchwork of global standards. A product can be certified safe internationally, yet still be illegal in a specific market due to local regulations. Taiwan enforces its cadmium standards strictly, applying them without exception to every shipment, regardless of origin. U.S. growers and exporters must meet this high bar, or risk losing access to a valuable market, forcing them to adapt their practices or face rejection. It's a classic case of differing scientific interpretations and national priorities, creating trade barriers, even when both sides value food safety. The situation highlights the complex challenges of global trade and food safety, where science, policy, and commerce intersect in unexpected ways. Cadmium in avocados isn't from pollution but the soil itself. The Pacific Rim, including California, has higher cadmium levels due to its geology. California, the king of U.S. avocado production, faces this natural challenge. Avocado trees absorb cadmium from the soil, a process called bioaccumulation. Cadmium levels vary, making it hard for growers to manage. This unpredictability puts California growers at a disadvantage in strict markets. The soil that makes California an agricultural powerhouse also creates trade disputes. It's a problem rooted in the earth, affecting the state's avocado industry. In the spring of 2025, Taiwan made headlines by blocking nearly 3,800 kilograms of U.S. avocados at its border. This was not just a routine inspection. These shipments represented months of planning, investment, and anticipation for both American growers and Taiwanese importers. Importers like Chiaowei Enterprise Company and Ormart Marketing Company suddenly faced substantial financial losses, with their carefully arranged supply chains thrown into disarray. The rejected avocados meant empty shelves for retailers and lost revenue for everyone involved. Laboratory tests revealed that the avocados contained cadmium levels exceeding Taiwan's strict food safety limits. Cadmium, a heavy metal, is closely monitored due to its potential health risks, and Taiwan enforces some of the world's toughest standards. In response, the Taiwanese FDA escalated its inspection protocols, increasing the number of samples tested from each shipment. This heightened scrutiny is designed to protect consumers, but it also means more hurdles for exporters. For importers, this translates to more frequent testing, longer delays at the border, and mounting costs as shipments are held up or rejected outright. The ripple effects can be felt throughout the supply chain. U.S. agricultural products have encountered similar challenges at Taiwan's border before, highlighting an ongoing struggle to meet the island's rigorous standards. Back in 2021, California avocados were also seized after failing to comply with cadmium limits, setting a precedent for strict enforcement. The issue isn't limited to avocados. Other U.S. food products, from nuts to grains, have faced similar compliance issues, underscoring the broad impact of Taiwan's food safety regulations. In the same month as the avocado rejection, U.S. Pacific oysters were also blocked due to high cadmium levels, showing that seafood is not immune to these strict checks. Taiwan applies its food safety laws consistently across all imports, regardless of origin or product type, ensuring that every shipment meets the same high standards. For rejected avocados, there are only two options: return the shipment to the U.S. or destroy it at the border. Both outcomes are costly and wasteful. Whether the fruit is shipped back or destroyed, exporters and importers alike face a total loss, not just of product, but of time, effort, and investment. Returning shipments is logistically complex and expensive, while destruction is a direct loss with no chance of recovery. Both options can damage business relationships and reputations. Exporting to Taiwan has become a high-stakes endeavor, with significant financial risks and uncertainty for U.S. producers and their international partners. The regulatory environment is unforgiving, demanding strict compliance and constant vigilance from U.S. producers who want to access the Taiwanese market. For many, the stakes have never been higher. The landscape is increasingly challenging, requiring adaptation and investment in food safety practices. Ultimately, the financial risks and regulatory hurdles create a tough environment for U.S. exporters, forcing them to weigh every shipment against the possibility of total loss. How does the U.S. avocado industry respond to rejections? It's complex. The California Avocado Commission emphasizes commitment to food safety. Growers test for cadmium, but its presence is unpredictable. Cadmium is naturally in the soil, varying even within a single orchard. Comprehensive testing is impractical and financially unfeasible. The industry relies on representative sampling for safety. This works for most markets but can't catch every high cadmium fruit. U.S. growers produce a safe product by reasonable standards. WHO guidelines confirm detected levels pose no realistic threat, yet they're shut out of markets due to strict standards. The The California Avocado Commission engages in dialogue for resolution. They share data and advocate for fair, science-based standards. The dilemma is whether to meet high bars or focus on other markets. Rejections create uncertainty, deterring exporters from Taiwan. The industry balances potential rewards and financial risks. Mexico, the global avocado superpower, faces its own challenges. While U.S. growers grapple with cadmium, Mexico deals with perception issues. Blackened skin on late-harvest avocados leads to rejections. Importers mistake blackened skin for poor quality or damage. This perception causes economic loss for Mexico's export industry. Rejections are based on aesthetics, not scientific standards. Mexican growers battle market myths, just as U.S. growers face cadmium issues. Both situations show non-tariff barriers can be as damaging as tariffs. Perfectly good fruit is prevented from reaching consumers. The myth of blackened avocado skins shows perception's power. Importers assume green skin means quality, rejecting blackened avocados. A 2024 study debunked this myth, showing no quality difference. Blackened avocados often have higher dry matter, indicating quality. The myth leads to food waste and financial hardship for Mexican growers. Educating the supply chain is key to dismantling this costly myth. U.S. and Mexican avocado stories reveal trade vulnerabilities. International trade regulations and market perceptions shape industries. Taiwan's strict standards and aesthetic myths create trade barriers. These barriers redirect produce flow and impact economies. Overcoming myths requires scientific data and marketing efforts. U.S. growers face lost revenue and increased competition. Mexican growers face financial losses and food waste. Other producers may benefit from these challenges. The global market is dynamic, with constant shifts in position. These situations highlight global supply chain fragility. Avocado shipments represent cultivation, investment, and labor. Economic disruption results from lab tests or market beliefs. The future of avocados is shaped by complex global forces. Growers must navigate international law, chemistry, and public relations. U.S. growers advocate for fair, science-based regulations. Mexican growers educate to debunk appearance myths. Consumers face supply disruptions and potential price changes. Regulatory barriers and myths affect global food supply. Consumers should value science and food safety and quality. The global avocado market will see more debates over standards. Success depends on navigating science and market psychology. The future of avocados depends on balancing health, science, and trade.